Shalom. Let's start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the old Filet that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth, all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm one about back again, that's sitting. This we're going to about just how in these times going forward, and me myself first and foremost. Those that believe in Lord Yahweh and Yahushua, they believe in the Lord Yahushua, to continue to continue to pray, continue to pray to the Lord Yahushua, for mercy and deliverance in these times, because we in some we in serious times, you never know what could happen. In these times, it could be, we in the times of, this place, America, Babylon Great, this place is going down. A lot of, things could happen more, going forward, you could have these, today, I saw today with the situation that happened with the attack at the synagogue, it could, and it could be more of that, because with the situation with Iran, threatening America, and so forth, right? It could be more attacks and things could happen, That's why in these times, me, myself, first and foremost, constantly continue to pray to Lord Yahushua, to have mercy and deliver, and hope to, hope for his mercy and deliverance in these times, to pray and keep the faith in Lord Yahushua that, hope, and hope to be that righteous number to escape the wrath and judgments of the Lord Yahushua in these times. So I'll start off with 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. So, I just said, pray, constantly pray without ceasing. So pray, don't stop. Don't stop praying to Lord Yahushua. Continue to pray, hopefully, and ask for, forgiveness, repent, daily, throughout your daily, try to, get, pray, pray before you lay down, pray and get up, pray, during the, your day, during the day, just pray throughout, your daily, and don't stop praying, because prayer is a weapon, to, prayer is used, to, pray to Lord Yahushua is a weapon, to fight off, demons and stuff like that, to, combat, things, things come upon you, find these, it's a spiritual battle, right? It's a spiritual battle, spiritual warfare. So you want to always constantly to pray to Lord Yahushua, for protection, like say forgiveness, repenting of something that you may done wrong, and mistakes, what it may be, and it just hope for his mercy and deliverance in these times, man. Because like I say, it's all about if that righteous number too, But, if Lord Yahushua, he continue to have mercy on you, then you continue to pray and continue to have faith and trust in him in these times of going forward, But from there, I'll go to, I ain't not going to make this too long. Luke 18:1, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought to always pray and not to faint, So Lord Yahushua, it's a parable, it's being a parable to them, to the disciples, at the time, and in these times, and to the elect, the apostles and elders and the brother Great Millstone men, Lord, that teach this truth, those that believe in this truth, that the apostles and the elders brother Great Millstone teach, you gotta listen and and believe in this truth and constantly pray. You know, I know one of the apostles, Apostle Carr, he pushed it. He pushed prayer. To always pray. To always pray. He pushes that in his lessons. Um, you know, and and like I say, the elders and so forth. Men Lord, push that. Men Lord, they push that. If to always pray, because like I say, it's a weapon. To combat, these spiritual attacks may come upon. Constantly pray, fast. Fast as well. Fast and pray. Um, so to always pray and not to faint. To always be me myself first and foremost. To always pray not to faint. Constantly believe and trust in the Lord Yahushua. For His mercy and deliverance, in these times. Next verse, Luke 18:2, saying there was in the city a judge which feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. So this so-called white man, Esau might those, they don't fear the Most High, Yahushua. They are the wicked. They want to be like the Most High. So they think they think that it can't be touched or told or whatever it may be. They think that they the ones that should be looked at and bowed down to, and and so forth. But on this verse, Luke 18:3, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. So the widow in the city, they're going to about the the elect. I said apostles, men Lord Great Millstone, the elect, and those that believe in Lord Yahushua, men Lord that teaches truth. I said apostles and the elders and the brother Great Millstone. We constantly, men Lord, and I say the apostles, elders, brother Great Millstone, constantly, crying unto the Lord Yahushua for as teaching His truth, condemning this so-called white man, Esau devils, what they doing. The oppression, the unrighteous laws and decrees, the constant killing, Jakes in the streets, or, the atrocities that these so-called white people, Edomites, have done and continue to do. Even though it don't get put on the news like that, you might hear it on the another alternative news, what these so-called white people, red people, Edomites continue to do to Jake, hanging on trees, or killing them, in horrific fashion. Say it like that, but let's say that's our average. The adversary to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites is the so-called white man, Esau Edomites. The ones that's in rulership and power. Starting with the elites, the bankers. Even these average Joe, Edomites. Excuse me, these average Joe, so-called white people, red people. That hate Jake as well. But the top elites, the bankers definitely hate the so-called Negro, Latino, Natives, which are Israelites. They always try to plan a way to try to get rid of Jake. Try to get rid of Israelites. By any means. But it's not gonna work. Especially for the elect, it's not gonna work on the elect. The wicked plans of the so-called white man devils, it's not gonna work on the elect, man. The next verse, Luke 18:4, and when he would not for a while, but afterward, he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, no regard in man. This verse, Luke 18:5, yet because this widow troubled me, I would avenge her, least by her continue coming, she wearied me, you know. And like I say, again, you know, the apostles and Ellsberg, Berger, and Stone constantly crying to Lord Yahweh and Yahushua, for deliverance from this so-called white man, Esau Edomite doubles that's in power, to, get away from this wickedness and this oppression and, the food and the water, the air, he devil's messing up the food, the water, and the air, and so forth, man, and all the confusion, all this Mo and all this Mo agenda. They push the Mo agenda. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm trying not to say it, but they push the Mo agenda, and especially in the schools, they're trying to push it on the kids. They're trying to push that Mo agenda, and that ain't right. And other things as well. That is wicked Edomite devils. They trying to push, the agenda, or their doctrine, their wicked doctrine of philosophies upon the people to think their way is right, and make it seem like the Most High Yahweh ways is wrong, but that's not the case, But the apostles, the apostles and the Elzebub and the brother Great Millstone constantly teach his word, give you an understanding of the truth, because so-called white man Esau my devils, they nothing but liars. They gonna give you a lie. They're not gonna tell you the truth, They're gonna spew lies and try to convince you that it is the truth, but it ain't, But the men of the Lord that had his truth, Apostle Els and the brother Great Millstone constantly, crying to the Lord, far as, pushing his word, constantly, like I said, constantly, condemning this so-called white man Esau and Mike Dubs for what they do. This verse, Luke 18:6, and the Lord said, hear what the just judge saith. Luke 18:7, shall not the Most High Yahweh avenge his own elect, also Yahweh Shah, avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them. So this like I said, the men of the Lord had his truth, the apostles and the elders and the brother Great Millstone, week in and week out, day in, day out, constantly pushing this truth and constantly condemning this so-called white man for his wickedness, constantly crying out for deliverance, from this place, sighing and crying, right, for the abominations, all wickedness that's going on, in this world that's that's pushed by the so-called white people, Esau and Mike doubles, man. But they the ones that's doing it. They promoting it, and they pushing it through the media, and having people hypnotized by their, like I say, they wicked philosophies and doctrines, in the schools too, right? On the internet as well, they push them lies, But the men of the Lord, the apostles, and the brother Millstone, that is truth. Pushing the truth. The truth, is going to outweigh that lie, which it is. And that's why the Edomite devils want this truth taken off the internet. But it's gonna come a time where Lord Yahushua, he gonna remove, he gonna take this truth away. But it's not gonna be because of the so-called white man Esau Edomites. Of they're they want and they want to, if they had it their way, it'd been off by now, But it's really Lord Yahushua is in full control, and this truth is getting to these Edomite devils, and they want this word Lord Yahushua that's being pushed by the apostles and the Elzebub and the brother Great Millstone has truth that constantly push it week in, week out, like I say, day in, day out. They want this truth off the internet, off YouTube, whatever. But it's not going. It's not in they might to want to do it. They want to do, but Yahushua is in control. Of he gonna take it away. It's gonna be his time and not of you Edomites. Y'all want it in y'all time frame right now to do it, whatever. It's not gonna happen. Like that. But on this verse, Luke 18:8, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Yeah, so Lord Yahushua, when he returns, he's gonna avenge his elect. He's gonna deliver his elect. The men of the Lord that kept the faith. And like I said, it says, son, when he comes, shall he find faith on the earth? Yeah, he will. Because scripture say, they're gonna be men that that are here and preserved until the Lord Yahushua returns. Who y'all call Jebus, Lord, the name of the Lord is Yahushua. And Lord Yahushua will return and deliver his elect. They kept their faith until his return, and then and did not give in to the ways of this world, or turn back into the ways of the world, take any bribe or money to try to push lies, false doctrine, or then like I said, once the chip, which is the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, once that's made mandatory, you're gonna have men of the Lord, the elect, is not gonna take that either. They're not gonna comply with that, but they're gonna keep their faith in Lord Yahushua, and Lord Yahushua gonna deliver them out of that, and then make his return and be delivered from the wrath of judgment the Lord Yahushua gonna bring down upon this place in America, Babylon the Great, by way of the thermonuclear missiles, right? And which is gonna be that fire, that second death, So I didn't want to make this too long. I just want to go into that. So again, I like about praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua. Hope that was edifying. So again, I like about praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kakadash, to the apostles, elders, to the sisters and brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith in Yahushua, keep fighting with that. Say shalom.